This is Jay Teaches Reading for All, Lesson 23, the letter X. We finally got to the X files. Let's review the alphabet letter sounds now. Short A, apple. N, nut. B, bat. C, cap. D, donut. E, egg. F, flag. G, gun. H, house. I, Indian. J, jet. K, kite. L, lamp. M, mountain. Done in. O has two sounds. Octopus or ostrich. P, pig. Q, quarter. R, rake. S, two sounds. Snake and zipper. T, top. U, umbrella. V, vase. W, window. And X is our lesson of the day. All right, now we're going to review the words and the true and false from the last two lessons, beginning with lesson 21. So students, I want you to try to say these words before I do. Barely get this one on. This is almost cut off. When I get there, I'll try to remember to slide it a little bit. Okay, first word. Van. At. That. Al. Val. Ack. Vac. Ick. Vic. Et. Vet. Est. Vest. Bev. Bev. And now, teachers, I'd like you to have the students read these words to you. Again, if you want to do a print and say on any one or more than one of the words, feel free to do that. Press pause. All right, now I'd like you to have the student read the true and false to you. Got to get them all, and hopefully I can get them all. This is going to be tough. This word right here, Vic, is kind of cut off. So it's going to be tough to see, but I think you can handle this. Press pause. All right, now we're going to do the same thing with lesson 22. This is the W lesson. And students, say these words before I do. Will, in, win, wick, wick, wig, wig, wet, wet, well, and then wes, west, west, west. And these three, 1, 2, and 3, are words that have a silent H in them. This one first. And when. Ack, whack. Ag, wag. Am, wham. And let's see if I can get Wes in there. All right, teachers, I'd like you once again to have the students say these words to you, and if you'd like, do a print and say on one or more of them. If you think it will be helpful, press pause. And now, teachers, have the students read these true and false. If I can get them all on screen. Okay. Go ahead and press pause. And now we get to our new letter, the letter X. And X makes the X sound like a KS sound, like in axe. And when you make this letter, and I cannot explain why I did this backwards from the way I always do the X, because in my book, I start at the top left and go down to the bottom right, and then top right down to the bottom left. Why I reversed it here, I have no idea. Channy's doesn't do it this way. I don't do it this way, but for some reason, I did it this way on this particular piece of paper. So, well, my usual excuse, I'm 74 years old, so I guess I'm allowed to. Okay, let's go through these new words. We got we got more than that. We got about 6 rhyming words to begin with. Axe, wax, sax, fax, max, tax. And then 3 rhyming words, mix, fix, six. And then a couple rhyming words, ox, fox. And the last words all rhyme, rex, hex, lex, tex, and vex. Okay, maybe some explanation would be in order. Younger student may not be familiar with wax, and wax is like a plastic-like substance that is solid when it's cold, sometimes, but it can be easily scraped with a fingernail, and when it gets warmed up, it melts. And candles are made from beeswax, so you can demonstrate that. Also, there's paraffin wax, which is solid, and both of these can be scratched with the fingernail. They're very soft. And sometimes wax comes in a liquid form, and it's used as a polish, like on furniture or on cars. So you can show this to the student. And sax, this is short for saxophone. It's a musical instrument, and you could probably bring up online someone playing the sax. We've got some boys' names here: Max, Rex, Lex, and Tex. And the word tax, that means money or possessions that a person has to pay for a service or a purchase. You can give the example, of course, of our government putting a tax on us, or if you pay tax at the grocery store, you can explain that to the student. And a fax is a machine that prints out a text or a picture that's sent to it. Or it could be the process of sending a text or a picture to this machine. That's also called faxing. And vex means to really, really bother someone. For example, a younger brother can mock and tease his sister, and he can really vex her. A hex is something that witches use when they want to put a spell on something or someone. It can be called a hex, which is a spell that is, it's not nice. It's a bad thing. Okay, so go ahead, teachers, and have students read these. Again, if you want to do the print and say, go ahead and do that. Press pause. I want to make a comment here about the print and say. That is optional, as is many things in this course. They're optional because, as I said at the beginning of the course, I'm presenting a course that I have found works for most students, but your student may not fall into the category of the average student. And you may not fall in the category of the average teacher. So feel free to make adjustments. Some teachers will do a lesson a day, maybe more. Other teachers, it may be 2-3 days, or maybe more to finish a lesson. That's fine. That's the beauty of this course as opposed to classroom learning, because you can adjust the course to fit your needs and the needs of your student. And I do forget sometimes to tell you about the option of print and say the word. And you notice that I've underlined 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words, which are eventually going to be suggested spelling words. So, you may want to choose those for the print and say, and you may not. But I do forget, as I said, sometimes to remind you about the option of print and say. And as usual, I've got my excuse, 74 years old. I got a better excuse next year when I'm 75. All right, now we're going to have you teachers have the student read the true and false. Of course, they're going to be reading them twice, once silently, second time out loud when they make their final true and false judgment and give you the reason. Press pause. Okay, when I told you I forgot things, a lot, I didn't say a lot, but it is true. I forgot to say, do the spelling test on these words. I did mention the spelling test, but I didn't actually formally remind you to do the spelling test. But if you haven't done it, of course, do that. And then my answers to the true and false. Rex will wax an ox and kiss a hog. Well, this is pretty silly, and I would imagine most students would put false. I mean, it's possible, but it's just so silly that it's hard to put a true on that one. Number 2, a red fox will tax Tex, but not Max. Well, fortunately, foxes, who are pretty sly and tricky, they do not tax anybody. So this one is false. Number 3, Bev can vex Lex when she yells and yells. This is true. A yelling little sister, for example, can get very annoying and can vex you. Number 4, mud and gas mix well in a cab. Mud and gas are not good for motor vehicles. So if you consider a cab as a motor vehicle, like a taxi cab, this is a definite false. Okay, our next lesson is going to be the letter Y. And it too is a very unusual letter because it is sometimes a vowel. When it's a consonant, it only has one sound, y, as in yo-yo, but sometimes it can be a vowel. For example, at the end of longer words, and especially girls' names, you can have a Y that sounds like a long I, long E, like Cindy, Kathy, Sandy, Tammy. All these girls' names can end in a Y. There's also an alternative spelling, but often end in a Y that sounds like an E. In short words, the ending Y can sometimes sound like a long I, like buy, B-Y, cry, C-R-Y. And sometimes Y can sound like a short I, For example, Jim, G-Y-M, or the girl's name Lynn, L-Y-N-N. In these words, the Y sounds like a short I. Now, we're not in the next lesson going into vowel sounds for the Y. We're just going to do the consonant sound Y, as in yo-yo. A later lesson will go into the long and short vowel sounds. Something else I wanted to mention about lesson 24, but I might have to wait until we actually get to lesson 24 because, once again, 74 years is kicking in. See you in lesson 74.